On August 15, 2021, Biden decided to order a complete withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan, allowing the Taliban to regain control. The world witnessed the hurried withdrawal of the U.S. in the Kabul moment, signifying the comprehensive failure of the U.S. strategic plans in Afghanistan. The graveyard of empires truly lives up to its name. In the past, the British Empire and the Russian Empire fought bitterly for control of this geopolitical heart, but neither could succeed. After World War II, it was the turn of the two superpowers, the US and the USSR, to vie for Afghanistan. The Soviets intervened, persisting for 10 years, only to retreat in defeat, shortly before the collapse of the Soviet Union. In April 1992, the Najibullah government in Afghanistan fell, and the Taliban guerrillas took over. In 2001, the U.S. invaded Afghanistan under the guise of counterterrorism, maintaining a 20-year presence, longer than the USSR, yet ending in failure with nothing gained. On August 21, 2021, the U.S. State Department spokesperson, Price, stated in a press conference, "After Afghan President Ghani fled his country, we have had no contact with him." The U.S. cleanly cut ties with its ally. Consequently, the international community faced the challenge of dealing with the new Taliban government. The U.S. refused to recognize Afghanistan's new regime and froze $7 billion of Afghanistan's central bank assets held in the U.S. Some Western countries remained cautious, believing the interim Afghan government wouldn't last a year. However, by early 2023, Western countries began wavering, seeking opportunities for mineral extraction in Afghanistan. But due to the U.S.'s displeasure, they hesitated to re-establish official relations with the interim Afghan government. For the interim Afghan government, breaking the diplomatic deadlock is crucial to becoming a normal nation. Yet, a glimmer of hope emerged. On December 1, Afghanistan released a significant piece of news. China officially accepted their ambassador, Bilal Karimi. Afghanistan praised China for being the first country to accept their ambassador, citing it as an important chapter in the development of relations between the two neighbors. Hong Lei, director of Protocol Department of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, accepted the credentials of Bilal Karimi, the new Afghan ambassador to China. Although China kept this matter low-key without grand announcements, its significance for Afghanistan surpasses mere diplomatic recognition from China. 1. China is not just a global power but also a permanent member of the UN Security Council, significantly influencing the international community's recognition of the interim Afghan government. 2. Pressure mounts on the U.S. As long as Afghanistan maintains stability, the U.S. will struggle to restrict its allies from establishing official relations with Afghanistan, forcing a re-evaluation of its foreign policy. 3. This indicates that in the 2 years, the interim Afghan government has met China's previous expectations, severing ties with terrorist groups, economic recovery, ensuring livelihoods, combating drugs, fighting corruption, and improving security. Otherwise, none of this would be feasible. China hopes to see stability in its neighbor and doesn't want foreign troops stationed in Afghanistan. More distressed than these people is India. On November 23, Afghanistan announced the permanent closure of its embassy in India. This came as a blow to India, which had been striving to salvage its relations with Afghanistan. In June 2022, India dispatched a diplomatic and security technical group to Kabul, hinting at it being a future embassy. However, Afghanistan didn't trust India's intentions. India, apart from the US, suffered the heaviest losses in Afghanistan. However, this was self-inflicted by India. It fancied leading the Afghan situation through cooperation with the US. In 2021, after the US abandoned Ghani, India became anxious. India's Deputy Foreign Minister, Shringla, rushed to Washington, aiming to persuade the US to keep some troops in Afghanistan. Indian media conjured a terrifying scenario: China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan strengthening trilateral relations to jointly confront India. They even spread rumors that Afghanistan planned to hand over the U.S. military's Bagram Air Base to China. At that time, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin pointed out that the reports of Afghanistan handing over the airbase to China were entirely false. India itself coveted the Bagram Air Base, not China. This was both a PR move by the Chinese People's Liberation Army in South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East, and a warning to those attempting to instigate chaos here. What Afghanistan needs most is stability and development, not military bases, which is precisely the opposite of India's stance. Since India harbors such suspicions about China and seeks to disrupt Sino-Afghan cooperation, how could Afghanistan possibly trust it? At the end of 2021, India presented itself in a manner to replace the US, hosting a regional security dialogue on Afghanistan, involving many countries but conspicuously excluding China and Pakistan. India claimed during the meeting to continue aiding Afghanistan. Yet, due to deep-seated animosity with the Afghan Taliban, India has always supported the Ghani regime and fought against the armed Afghan Taliban. India annually provides around $200 million in aid to the pro-US Afghan government, totaling about $4 billion, then uses this friendly relationship to establish consulates in Herat, Kandahar, Jalalabad, and Mazar-i-Sharif, with the number of diplomatic personnel rivaling that of the US. In reality, it's a spy network. India's intelligence agencies also support and bolster terrorist organizations like the Pakistani Taliban and Baloch Liberation Army, launching attacks back and forth between Afghanistan and Pakistan. However, India's short-sightedness seals its failure. It didn't anticipate Biden swiftly withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. Without the US, India lacks the strength to sustain the Ghani regime. Therefore, India's previous investments all went down the drain. Not only was it a lost cause, but it also created an enemy for itself. The Afghan Taliban and the Pakistani Taliban were already adversaries. India further fueled the Pakistani Taliban. Did it think Afghanistan wouldn't get wind of this intelligence? Now that Afghanistan has announced the closure of its embassy in India, it's a clear message for Indian diplomats to pack up and leave. Currently, visa and economic affairs are restricted to the Afghan consulates general in Mumbai and Hyderabad. According to reports from Xinhua News Agency and other media sources, up to now, Afghanistan has exported 3,000 tons of pine nuts this year, of which 2,700 tons were exported to China, along with saffron and other medicinal herbs and agricultural products, creating job opportunities for hundreds of thousands of people. Furthermore, in order to assist Afghanistan, China has increased its imports of high-quality agricultural products like pine nuts and granted a zero-tariff treatment to 98% of the tariff lines. What truly makes the West covet Afghanistan is its mineral resources. With 34 provinces and a total of 368 administrative districts, Afghanistan boasts incredibly rich mineral deposits, largely untapped, often referred to as the poor man sitting on a gold mine. The US, despite 20 years of presence, couldn't take away the gold mine because of its incapacity for large-scale infrastructure development, difficulties in extraction, and transportation hurdles. Back then, India, leveraging American support, collaborated with Canada to obtain mining rights for the Hajigak iron mine, estimated to involve an investment of around $8.7 billion. However, following the regime change in Afghanistan, India's sole cooperative project went down the drain. With the US illegally freezing Afghanistan's assets, why would Afghanistan recognize past governmental cooperation projects with the West? Afghanistan's mineral resources are estimated to exceed $30 trillion in value, with the US military estimating over $10 trillion, including iron, chromite, copper, lead, zinc, nickel, lithium, beryllium, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, talc, marble, barite, gemstones, salt, coal, uranium, oil, and natural gas, among others. There are also the Ainak copper mine, the Bamiyan coal mine, the Herat lithium mine, the AMU Daria oil and gas field, and the Afghanistan Tajik Basin oil and gas fields. Regarding transportation, Afghanistan aims to build railways and roads to open trade routes, necessitating expansions at the international airports in Kabul, Kandahar, and Mazar-i-Sharif. Who can engage in infrastructure cooperation with Afghanistan? Who can help Afghanistan turn this gold mine into tangible wealth? Who can aid Afghanistan in achieving economic development? The answer is self-evident. This is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We genuinely appreciate your support.